Hello everyone. In this video, we will be installing Garud Linux and looking at some post installation steps that are necessary. Now let's start with the installation. This is Calamaris, the installer for Garud Linux. First, we need to set our time zone, then the key map that we want, keyboard layout. Then here I will recommend to go with the manual partitioning because other options sometimes doesn't work the way we expect them to work, or they have a high crash rate. So here my disk is unformatted, so I'll just, yeah. First of all, we need a boot partition. Usually the recommended boot partition size is 512 MBs, but here 300 MBs works, so I'll just create a 300 MB boot partition. We'll give it a file system of FAT32. Then the mount point should be slash boot slash EFI, but here I only have a slash boot option, so I'll just go with it. I'll flag it as boot and okay. Now here we need to create a swap partition. So if you have a RAM somewhat like 8 GB or more than that, you can just skip this creation of swap partition. You don't need it. But if your RAM is somewhat like me, like I am currently on 4 gigabytes of RAM, so I need to create a swap partition of 4 GB. So in the RAM plus swap partition total becomes 8 GB, which is usually enough. So 4096 megabytes converts to 4 gigabytes of RAM. So here I'll just give it as, sorry, here we don't have a mount point. I'll just give it a file system of Linux swap, and so like the mount point option is completely gone. Now here I'll flag it as swap and okay. Now here we'll create a root partition. For we can just leave it as it is, leave this number. If we want to create the entire partition as root partition, a recommended file system is btrfs, because in Garud Linux the time shift is pre-configured in order to uh, take snapshots every time a system is upgraded, and sometimes after some time if you don't upgrade your system for a long time. So here our mount point would be slash, that is denoted for root, and we'll flag it as root. So okay. But here if you are a distro hopper, uh, s- or you are using multiple operating systems, or in future you think you will be using multiple operating systems and you have a lot of data with you, so I'll recommend you to create a separate home partition. So if the so for the users who want to create this root partition and home partition as one, can just click on next. Or for those who want to create a separate home partition, I'll just show this by creating here a 300 gigabytes of root partition. It's recommended that at least 100 gigabytes of root partition is allocated, or at times after a limit your system is expected to crash and you need to install new operating system. So in order to prevent that cycle, more than 100 gigabytes of root partition is recommended, and here the remaining I'll use as home. So again, if you want to include this home partition in your snapshots, then you can keep it btrfs, else you can shift to a ext4. But here, even though I don't want to include my home partition in snapshots, I'll just keep it as btrfs. So in order to prevent some issues that might occur due to different partition types of root and home, so I'll just give it a mount point of home. Here we don't have a flag for home, so we'll just click on OK. So we'll just move with it. Yeah. And if you are a person with multiple distros, then you need to create the swap partition only once. And while installing other distros, you don't need to create swap partition individually for those distros, because other distros will also use this swap. The swap area is always accessible to all the distros present on the system, so you don't need to recreate this swap partition. And same for the distro hoppers, but in case of distro hoppers, you need to only recreate this boot partition and this root partition. And since all your applications and your operating system is in root partition, so you need to reinstall the application after you install your new distro in this root partition, but your all the data, that is your home partition, will be safe. The only thing that you need to keep in mind in case of distro hoppers or multiple OS users is that you need to use the same username. Yeah, it's asking me to use GPT. I used them. Yeah, it's perfectly fine. Use whatever. So yeah, the username should be same. And yeah, here I am using VirtualBox so that I should be able to record this video. It's recommended to install this distro on hardware, original hardware, because it works awesome with original hardware. It may be a bit buggy in virtual machines, so use the same password for administrator account. Yes, I would like to do that. And done. So here it shows how it's gonna allocate spaces on a hard drive. So here 300 MBs is given to the boot partition, 4 gigabytes is given to the swap partition. This 302.3 gigabytes are root partition, where our operating system and applications will be installed, and this is our home, 639.4 gigabytes. So let's install. So for those who don't know what's Garud, so Garud is an Arch-based distro that has been created uh, for specially the newcomers who want to start using Linux. So if you are coming from Windows or Mac, then you can start with Garud Linux. It's awesome. It's very user friendly. Everything is almost uh, tried to convert to GUI, so you don't need to quite use the command line, so you can just go with it like you used to use your Windows and Mac. Now uh, one more important thing, that when you are on a live USB for installation, your system usage might go quite high. So if your system is heating or it's on uh, high fan noise, then you just don't need to worry. Once you complete the installation and boot into your system, everything will be just fine. So there's one more thing that's important, that Garud Linux sometimes freezes on the reaching 79% while installation. So in order to prevent that, we will you can just keep moving your mouse randomly, so that it doesn't freeze at that point and your installation is completed. Now the time taken for installation can vary from system to system. In some system it can be completed quite fast, but some systems might take time to complete the installation. Yeah, so we are about to reach that 79% stage where the system freezes. So we'll just keep moving our mouse randomly in order to prevent freezing, because if the system freezes at 79%, then the only way to get out of it is forced shutdown. And after that we just need to try start the installation again from scratch. Yeah, so the installation is about to complete. Now the system usually doesn't freeze, and even if the installation fails after this point, just before reaching the 100%, then you can just uh, try reinstalling the system, because this is the second attempt that of my installation. The first attempt failed after this point. So y- so you can just start the reinstallation. No need to worry about the if the installation fails. Yeah, so our installation is completed. Now let's just restart our system and boot into our distro. So here's our login screen. Now let's get started with the post installation steps. Yeah, so this is our Garud welcome screen. Now let's first go to the Garud tools, and in that Garud assistant, first we need to refresh our mirror lists. Now since I'm in India, so the default current mirror list is selected India, but Germany is fast for this location, so I'll also select Germany and I'll press OK. Now, due to it being a virtual machine, it's quite slow, but on the actual installation, this all happens quite fast, so we just need to wait a bit. Yeah, so here save to this location. We need to enter password. Okay, and then we need to perform a system update. Here this function is not working because of being a virtual machine. It works on actual installation, so let's just perform the update through the terminal. So here our update is completed. Update and upgrade. So such kind of errors can occur at times, but no need to worry. Let's just complete the upgrade, and it creates a backup of the system, so that in case if you are unable to boot in the system after the upgrade, then you can just fall back into a previous snapshot. So now let's just uh, get into this Btrfs partition. If you are using an SSD, then you can enable the fstream and scrub. This is good for SSDs. And if you are using hard drive, then after every few weeks it's recommended to use balance, and that's it. In the settings, yeah, as if you don't need the guest user, then you can just remove it. Yeah, again it's not working because of being a virtual machine, but on my actual installation it worked. Now we need to upgrade, just install language packages. So do you want to continue? Yes. So in order to install the language packages, a system need to be on the latest packages, because if you don't upgrade your system, it will give an error to upgrade packages. Okay, now you're ready with the Garuda installation. So if just so you can just enjoy the Garuda installation. Now there's one more optional uh, thing that you can do is just remove things that you don't need. That is, here I am removing Gary, the email client that I don't need, and HP, because I am not on an HP laptop, I'm on an MSI laptop, that too in a virtual machine, so I'll never ever need this thing unless I'm using an HP device like an HP printer or something like that. Yeah, since it has a VLC media player, so we don't need to replace any kind of media player here. We can just use it the way it is. So let's just continue with the debloating, and done. So that's all for today's video. Just enjoy your installation. Thank you.